Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture.
And I'm Andy Murray from What Culture.
And coming up, some huge news if you're a fan of Trish Stratus.
A former WWE writer shoots on Vince McMahon.
Roman Reigns' SummerSlam opponent revealed, ?
3 new women join AEW.
And some big news about AEW finding a trademark. This is the news.
But first,
no rhymes, straight to the stories. That's what we're doing.
A 10-bell salute for the rhymes. Only joking, we're going to kick things off with Raw is LOL. This week's Monday Night Raw was pretty good in general, but it had a couple of major calamities as have kind of come to light as people have been sitting, pulling apart the show all week, bringing things to our attention.
Was
yes,
one of them
sir.
Seth Rollins' promo?
No, but that definitely
wow.
should have been one. Also, Seth Rollins was rather corny on NXT this week. But anyway, the first kind of major cock-up on this show, we spoke about this on Tuesday morning, was the Io Shirai Asuka thing as the... this is just ridiculous. As the Kabuki Warriors were coming out, of course, instead of having Asuka's Twitter handle, they had Io Shirai's.
Unbelievable.
We spoke about that on Monday, Tuesday, but it kind of bears talking about again because it's so ridiculous. But the second is even worse. And I didn't notice this at the time of watching the show. So thank you actually to our writer, Andrew Pollard, who brought this to our attention via the website. Roman Reigns, attempted murder. A car slammed into his car. A car clearly bashed into his. Damage, broken things, shattered stuff. Goes to a commercial, comes back. Suddenly, there's no damage on the car. So
it'd all been absorbed by Roman.
Yeah, Roman's manliness has replenished the car. But yeah, so obviously what they've done there is that they've swapped vehicles. Maybe the other one wasn't fit for filming or whatever, and hope no one would notice. But surely if you're going to do that, you would not film a perfectly normal, unbroken car. It's really quite shoddy by WWE.
It's inexplicable. It's like one of those things you see on those sort of low-budget movies when there's a massive car chase and then there's just this perfectly fine car driving through all of it.
It's a real car. It's like B-movie stuff, isn't it? Not good.
I mean, honestly, the amount of people who worked them there and no one went, isn't that car meant to be like buggered now? Because he got smashed into a sedan or whatever it was.
I don't know, mate. Maybe it's like Carmageddon. That game used to have a little button you could press.
Carmageddon.
If you pressed it, like your car like regenerated all the damage. So maybe Roman Reigns is just a big Carmageddon fan.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be plenty more mistakes probably going down at SummerSlam, but they'll hopefully be, intentional ones, let's just
Shane
say.
McMahon related.
Yes. And speaking of SummerSlam, in fact, we should move on and talk about Trish Stratus. Of course, she's facing Charlotte Flair on Sunday. And speaking in an interview with SiriusXM's Busted Open Radio, she has revealed, or confirmed, I should say, that this match against Charlotte Flair will be her last ever wrestling match. Now, granted, I'm not going to say a pinch of salt due to Busted Open Radio or Trish Stratus. I just mean whenever literally any wrestler says this is my last ever match. Is it though? But let's appreciate it as such, and it would make for a lovely send-off for her, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. 13 years ago, obviously, that's when Trish first retired. She's come back for this Women's Evolution and a match. Was she in that Snooki match a few years ago?
Yeah, that's the highlight of her career, I think.
She said something on this interview along the lines of, I've been retired, but I would always said I would come back for something that sounds like a challenge. Wrestling Snooki certainly is that, or wrestling with Snooki. Or something that could help someone else, and in this case, I guess it's Charlotte Flair. It does sound like a really good way to go out, though, doesn't it? Like going up against perhaps one of the best of this era when you're the best of your era. Cool.
I think Trish is just one of the best ever for doing stuff like this because, like you said, she had this phenomenal career. She retired without, damaging a legacy or whatever. Then she came back, as you mentioned, fought and got involved in Evolution and the Women's Revolution and all stuff like that. And now she's gone, you know what? This younger generation, they can take it from here. They clearly are doing great things. And she's just using her last appearance to presumably put over one of the biggest female stars ever, but also wrestle, back home at SummerSlam obviously in Canada. And I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah. Her and Big Chaz is going to be great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Speaking of not loving it, weird. Jimmy Jacobs, former WWE writer, you might remember him as that silly little sausage who took a picture with the Bullet Club that time they invaded Raw in September 2017. A rather silly sausage move there from a cheeky little scamp. He was released from WWE, let go. He has since joined Impact. He's been working as a writer. He's been doing some independent dates. He's been all over the place. But he's done a new interview with, I think, friend of the channel, Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah, best
wonderful,
friend.
Wonderful. Talks a lot about, his current situation, personal issues like going to rehab and so forth, and of course his time in WWE. So he has a rather interesting comment on Vince McMahon here, and I can confirm that shoot season is still very much open. Basically, he was talking about his favourite stuff to do in WWE. He said, the stuff with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, that was like the crowning stuff of my time there. He talks about the Festival of Friendship, which he apparently had a big hand in, and was awesome. It was great. He kind of follows this up by saying a lot of WWE is really fun, except there is one black cloud that hangs over the place, and that is the crazy man. Now, I assume he's not talking about like Kane here.
No.
He's not talking about Aria Daivari. He's talking about Vince McMahon, isn't he? But he also kind of talks on the photo that got him fired from WWE. It's like him and the Young Bucks and Marty Scurll. He says, when I did it, I knew it might make some people upset, but at that point in my life, I didn't care. I wasn't trying to not get fired anymore because for so long I was there just trying to not get fired. So after 2 years of just trying to avoid the bullet and do what Vince wanted and avoid his wrath and all this stuff, he just kind of stopped caring and then got fired and was like, oh, well, cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how many people who are working for WWE are just like, if I just keep my head down and don't get fired, that'll be fine. It would explain a lot of the issues that we complain about with WWE.
Yeah, it certainly would. It certainly would. Like,
also preposterous to get fired for just taking a photo.
Taking a photo with your mates. It's kind of they're so petty, aren't they? Like the slightest little thing, and they're just like, "Whoa, see you later." Although it's quite interesting that they fired him for that 2 years ago, and then like in 2019, you have guys like the Revival teasing AEW, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna keep you forever, assholes."
Yeah.
Like it's really interesting to see how their focus has shifted now that they have actual competition.
Vince McMahon's favourite band? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Hey!
Right, let's move on and let's get your pinch of wrestle votes out because they have been claiming some other stuff surrounding SummerSlam on Twitter this week. They tweeted yesterday, late last night I think it was, claiming that the WWE are considering doing Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy at SummerSlam, which would kind of be a bit inexplicable considering they are aiming everything at Rowan and potentially Daniel Bryan and some talk of Samoa Joe being involved in this somewhere. Obviously, there was that confrontation even between Roman and Buddy on SmackDown when he was trying to find out who was the bloke who smashed into that undamaged car of his. And he had a little back and forth with him. But WrestleVotes are now claiming that WWE are considering a match at SummerSlam. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, the phrasing they've used here, they've said, our source said it wasn't decided either way yesterday, but it remains a possibility as we get closer to the show this weekend. That sounds like something anyone could have made up on Twitter and just gone, well, it might not happen, but it might. I think it would be a great match, don't get me wrong. Buddy's awesome, hasn't really done anything in 4 months, but I love Roman Reigns, as regular viewers of the channel know. But I think we're probably, Roman's been linked with a singles match to Bryan. He's been linked with a tag match, him and Joe versus Bryan and Rowan, which would be incredible.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
Love to see that. But as things stand, no match for the big dog. There's only 10 matches on the card so far.
Yeah, they're doing no more needed. Like maybe have a confrontation between Roman and Rowan. I don't know why it always trips me up, that one. But yeah, we don't need loads more matches chucking on Friday afternoon or something.
Yeah.
10 is absolutely fine.
10's fine.
And it would be, I just think it'd be weird to inevitably feed Buddy Murphy to Roman Reigns as his first sort of main roster proper exposure that's not on the on the pre-show.
It'd be a shame. You'd kind of look at it and go, well, Buddy could get over in defeat with a strong performance and stuff, but that doesn't generally happen in WWE. It's not really what they do. Heels are often booked for humiliation losses and so forth, and it's kind of annoying. But yeah, like under other circumstances, I'd love to see it, but perhaps not these ones. No. Let's move on to AEW. The latest episode of the Road to All Out came out last night, and it was very heavily focused on the women's division, and it's about time because they haven't done the best job of developing that group. But basically, we had a little intro from Brandy Rhodes. She was talking about the women's title that they're bringing in and how are they going to determine who fights for the belt when TV kicks in October. Well, the answer, or at least one of the answers, is a casino battle royale. If you remember that thing from Double or Nothing, it's everyone draws a card. They have 4 groups of wrestlers entering: hearts, spades, stuffs. The number 21.
We don't play that much poker.
Yeah, nah, we really don't. I used to play solitaire a bit. But, I'm sure that counts. like a staggered entry battle royal. The first one was all right. This one could be even better. But Brandy basically said, look, we don't have enough women on our roster to fill this in these 21 spots. We don't have 21 women under contract. So they introduced 3 new ones. And they drew their cards for the Casino Battle Royal from Jake the Snake Roberts. So the first one, interestingly, is Teal Piper, who I didn't even know was a wrestler, but she's the daughter of Rowdy Roddy Piper. And she had a lengthy interview. She was talking about growing up as the daughter of one of the most hated heels in the business. And she says that if she gets involved with wrestling, if she dedicates herself to this, she will feel closer to her father. Really good stuff. And the other one, former Lucha Underground standout and indie kind of favorite, Evilise. Yes. Cool to see her back.
Yes.
She was kind of dressed like Nikki Bella with like a little baseball cap and stuff, but yeah, cool. She'll be a really good addition, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And the final one is even more interesting, I think. It's Jazz. So, former ECW, former WWE Women's Champion. Most recently, she was in the NWA. Long women's title reign there. I think she held the belt for 3 years. She had this crazy, like, Vader-esque mastodon mask thing, and she'd shaved her head. She looked like a total badass. I haven't seen her wrestle personally in a long, long time, but it was really cool. It was a really great reveal. So, 3 good pickups. No word on whether or not they're actually signed yet, but they make sense for the Casino Battle Royal.
Yeah, and I think we've mentioned this. The only areas we really seem to think AEW are dropping the ball a little bit are in that women's division. Like, they have talent. They obviously have some incredible talents there. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Awesome Kong. I can go on and go on and go on. Kylie Ray. But we feel like it needs bulking out a little bit, like you're saying. Something like this, not only as a sort of catalyst to do it, like, well, here's the reason why we need to sign more women, but also to give them more exposure. And as you mentioned, just give them an episode of The Road to All Out to showcase them was really good for me.
Yeah, it was good. The Nyla Rose interview was particularly great. I would advise anyone who has a spare 10 minutes to check out. It's well worth your time.
Yes, continuing with All Elite Wrestling, they filed a new trademark last week. Now, this was down to our ever-reliable Raj Giri over at Wrestling Inc. He broke the news, saying that they have filed for AEW Revolution. Now, no update on what this could mean. A lot of people speculating on whether this is the name of the TV show, a pay-per-view, a video game, merchandise. Who knows? But what do you make, Andy Murray, of AEW Revolution?
It's an interesting name. I think it would make sense for TV because it's the Pro Wrestling Revolution. That's what it is. It's entirely appropriate, and there are 1,000 different songs out there called Revolution that they could license for the theme. But at the same time, I really like Wednesday Night Dynamite.
Yeah.
I love that little rhyme there. Obviously, we love the rhymes. I think it rolls off the tongue really nicely. I prefer Dynamite, but if they're going with Revolution, I'm not mad at it. Could be a cool pay-per-view name as well.
I think it'd be better served as a pay-per-view name. I think if you are on TNT and you've come up with the name Wednesday Night Dynamite and you don't use it, you're an idiot.
You're a silly sausage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At What Culture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch. James Martin tweets this, which I have to point out was also suggested by Michael Hamflett in the What Culture office the other day, but I want to discuss it now. At TakeOver, I'm so excited for TakeOver this weekend. Is there a chance the third fall chosen by Regal is a triple threat with Tommaso Ciampa?
I think there is, although I think there's a very strong chance. He has made some kind of Lazarus-like recovery from this serious neck injury. Ridiculous. He's expected back imminently. There's a very strong chance he'll return this weekend. But I'm not into it. I don't like it. No, I think it's really unfair. Like, in kayfabe terms, like, in real life terms, it'd probably be a cool match, don't get me wrong. But number one, it's a lot of strain to put on a guy who's coming back from a serious neck injury. Number two, like, if you're in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and these guys, Cole and Gargano, win a fall each, which it would require to get to the third fall, how come Ciampa would get to come in and win 1 fall and he wins the match? Doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, that is a very good point, actually.
But I think it would get a big pop.
Yeah, it would get a huge pop. The problem we have now, and this often happens in the What Culture office, is we book something that's so good that when WWE reveal what they've done, even if it is really, really good, we're like, but it's not Ciampa, is it?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we've got the street fight, we've got just a straight wrestling match, and we know that the third fall will be picked by William Regal. I want to see Ciampa appear, but it kind of makes sense that, and I don't want to rush him back. I'd rather wait, maybe even have him come out, depending on whoever wins, at the end. Because then you're not forcing him to wrestle immediately. You're just going, here he is.
Yeah.
And then you can slowly build from that. But I'm really hoping Tommaso Ciampa makes an appearance this weekend.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I think for me, in my head, the scenario I would like to see is Cole wins the final fall by being a dick. Ciampa comes out and lays him out.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Let us know your thoughts on what you predict the third fall is going to be in that match, because I'm so excited. Right, let's move on to Derek D-Rock Felix's question, who says, do you think we'll see WrestleMania 13 deja vu at SummerSlam with Becky Lynch passing out to the sharpshooter?
I don't necessarily think it would be the worst idea in the world, to be honest, and WWE they absolutely adore recreating stuff like that, particularly when it comes to Canadian wrestlers.
Really worried that they're like, I think we've not done the screw job for a while.
Let's get Ric Flair out here for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting idea. I don't think ultimately they will go with it. I think they still believe in Becky Lynch as the figurehead of this division. I think that while Natalya is in Canada, she's still kind of been typecast as just this good hand who exists on the mid-card and doesn't really do a whole lot. So a lot of people would see that as a major downgrade, I think. A lot of people wouldn't react in the way WWE really want, but it is in Canada, so maybe that would soften the blow.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go to that. And also my thing is WWE are targeting a younger audience, yes. So why do a callback to something so many years ago? I'll appreciate it, you'll appreciate it, a lot of the fans will appreciate it, but if you're trying to target a younger audience, targeting something that happened nearly 23 years ago is weird. Final question today comes from Kartik Chandra Chaturvedi. I really hope I got that right. I may have butchered that name there. He says, with all the shots Riddle has been taking at Goldberg, what a knee bar, bro. Do you think Riddle will interfere at SummerSlam in Goldberg's match with Ziggler?
I don't think he will, man. I think he's just been a fanny on social media. Like, it's really entertaining, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think he's just trying to get people talking.
Did you see his tweet yesterday? Where he tweeted a picture of him, like a drawing of him and Brock Lesnar, and he said, I'm going to be at obviously NXT, but I'm also going to be at SummerSlam and, sort of expect things to happen.
He's done stuff.
Teasing us.
He's done stuff like this before, hasn't he?
100%.
I'm going to retire Brock Lesnar and all this stuff. Love Matt Riddle. He's a cheeky little scamp. I've called several people silly sausages on this video already, but he is a silly sausage.
Should we do a combined recreation? So we'll turn like he did, when he did his little video. Jericho, the one that Jericho mocked.
Oh,
Ready?
The goddamn.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Right, let's move on to today's And Finally. And I just want to spend some time being nice. We often bury stuff on And Finally, and I just want to, spread some love out there and talk about Enzo Amore, or more specifically, talk about Big Cass, thanks to Enzo Amore, because we all saw the photo doing the rounds a few months back of a slightly larger Big Cass. There was a lot of concerns about him. He had the issues at the Tommy Dreamer event. I think he collapsed at or something.
He had a seizure,
yeah. So it was all very worrying, and no matter what your opinion of him as a wrestler is, this is some fantastic news. Enzo tweeted the sort of side-by-side comparison of them. I know Big Cass tweeted thanking the likes of DDP for helping get him back into shape. And I just want to say congratulations and fantastic to see Big Cass doing so well. Again, DDP working wonders in the wrestling industry.
Friend of the channel, DDP.
And I think Big Cass looks great, and I'm slightly concerned that someone's going to show that to Vince, and he's going to go, who's that guy?
He's real jack.
Sign him up. But yes, congratulations to Big Cass. Great to see him back, looking great and doing well.
He's in Stamford shape, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's absolutely ripped. Good for him, man.
Sign him up,
Good
boys.
for him. How to bounce back.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you can send us Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE. Whilst you're there, follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for haberdashery.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. You can follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. And make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
Rhyme in peace.